Hello guys, welcome back to the coding lab. In this video, we are showing in this video we are showing the how use the clean architecture and define its old layer and its responsibility. So why we use the clean architecture? Because clean architecture is a way structuring your app so that business logic is independent. UI can change easily, and API or the database can be replaced without breaking the app. So here is the main goal is structurize all our code so that basically it's reusable and testable and easy to maintainable, and also whenever adding a new features that easily. So let's view the overview of the clean architecture layer. So in the clean architecture, there is a three main layer. One is a presentation layer, basically that the our UI and the data flow through the presentation layer to the domain layer, and after that the data layer. So presentation layer it's hold the our UI and the view model, and domain layer it's basically use case like and communicate with our data layer. So domain layer contain the login use case, etc., and the data layer in which our the DTO class or our the repo class and retrofit API callings, and it's our API endpoint and method basically defined in that layer, and also its content repository implementation. So let's get to more detail in the present and layer so you can get the more idea. Here in the left side I added the photo. So you remember over the application that basically contain the three screen. Let me show you. So the first screen is the our login screen. So here is complete features auth that is basically for that screen. So another screen is the home screen in which there is a items, or you can say that is a product, and this is product detail screen, and after click on this you can add to the cart, and here you can increase and decrease the quantity and delete the item also. So basically in this we are not focusing about the designing, but we are focusing about more focusing about the how the clean architecture it should work, and how we can easily implement in other projects, so you can get the better idea. So now move to the responsibility of presenting layer is that displaying the UI, handling the user interaction, managing the UI state. So basically in here in our login feature auth that is showing the login screen. So present and layer hold the login screen and register screen, and here in the view model, that view model it's interact with the our login screen also in the our domain layer. And here in the auth event there is a events like the auth event have some functions like a login and a logout, and auth state contain the data class that is the like error or the token or the state is loading or not. And in auth view model, it's a view model that communicate with the our UI and the domain layer. So basically, that's the responsibility of the presentation layer. Presentation layer. So our next layer is the domain layer. So domain layer is the core business logic, and you can say that domain layer is the heart of the Pling architecture. Key point that you not to miss that domain layer not contain any Android dependency, that also not contain the retrofit room. It's only contain the pure Kotlin code, in which there is a written use cases. In our case here is the login and logout. These are the use cases, and that for that we are also contain the repository. Here is a auth repository, and you can, for the another example, in the cart module there is a cases like adding a cart, removing a cart, and increase and decrease the cart item that contains in the use cases. So basically, repository, what is that doing? That communicate with our view model, and that communicate with our use case. So view model directly communicate with our auth repository. Here I will show you the code so you can have a better idea. So here you can see that our domain layer, that is a auth repository that calling by the login use case. So next layer is that data layer. So data layer contains the API callings, our DTO models. Also we can or the repo class and mapping logic that calling the API, etc. And it's also contain the repository implementation. In photo there is a contain auth API service that contains the logging the REST API endpoint and its function. Auth module, it's communicate calling the auth API service, and that is a login request and login response. These two are the our repo class, and auth repository implementation. It's a calling from the domain layer auth repository. So basically, this structure we are using and separate over the logics. So here you can show the complete data flow for the better understand. So our Jetpack Compose direct communicate with our view cases. Jetpack our UI direct relationship with the view model, and the view model it's calling the use cases, and use cases calling the repository, and repository interface calling the repository implementation. Here you can see that our UI is here that communicate with the view model, and view model communicate with our domain layer in login use case. Here is the login case, and login use case calling the auth repository calling the auth repository implementation, and it's this API service or call this class. So that was the basic flow of the clean architecture. I hope you get the clear idea. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask in comment section. And in the next video, we are starting to implementing all these things one by one. So like and subscribe this channel. Thank you.